Hello, this is Jochen, coach of the San Francisco Cinderace. This will be my battle replay for my Week 3 match against the Seattle Snorlax. Now, the Chandelure and Weezing give my team a lot of problems, but I feel like if I can deal with those two pretty early on, then I'd be confident that I could win the match. Otherwise, it's going to be fairly tricky. So let's get right into it. Off the bat, I lead Flygon because I know the set here. It's going to be a safe switch on just about everything. About the only thing that would spook me would be the Hydreigon because I'm Scarfed. Not max speed, I'm an adamant nature, so if it is a Scarfed max speed Hydreigon, I'd be spooked. That said, the Weezing's not a great matchup either, and while I do have Iron Tail, I definitely want to get out of here as soon as possible, so I'm going to be U-turning out right away. And we see that right there doing 3 damage tells me this is a pretty physically defensive Weezing. It's not especially defensive, and because of that, I know for certain that I can one-shot it with a Flash Cannon, unless it's probably Berry, I would say would be the only way it lives. And seeing the Will-O-Wisp, I know it's not a Sulp Fest, so that makes it even more likely. And then I see the Black Sludge, so it's not Berry, and I know I can one-shot it. I go straight for the Flash Cannon. So that's a very big deal, because with this gone, it's one of the things that walls a lot of stuff on my team. It walled the Cinderace, it walled the Grimmsnarl, it kept the Flygon from doing its job. So Weezing going down early is amazing for my team. It opens up so many more possibilities for me to switch into, because while it's alive, I basically just have to cycle back into Aegislash every time until I can kill it. So with it out of the way, it makes it, it gives me a lot of breathing room, I should say. And the fact that I'm burned doesn't scare me too much. I'm special with Berry, so I don't care too much about the burn, but whatever he brings in, I will have to switch out of. So Chandelure comes in. I'm in a King's Shield because I want to see what he wants to do here, and he goes for a Shadow Ball. So seeing the Shadow Ball, I know if he's a choice item, he's locked in, so I felt pretty confident I could get Vaporeon in safely there. And now he doesn't want to stick around with Excadrill, which makes sense, and I just went for the Hydro Pump, see if Seismitoad comes out or if he leaves Excadrill in. The Seismitoad comes in, so I know it's Water Absorb, and sure enough, Water Absorb. Now I switched the Vaporeon out. I was not expecting the Power Whip, to be honest. I thought he'd go for an Earthquake, and I wanted to keep Vaporeon healthy so that it was a safe Chandelure switch in. So I was going out in the Silvally anyways, and it would have taken the Power Whip just fine, but I did not realize that Seismitoad got Power Whip until this match, so something new there. But I'm just going to multi-attack. I want to get some damage here. Or no, Grass Pledge. That's right, I forgot I carry Grass Pledge this week. So Grass Pledge is a good chunk, and I had EV'd my Silvally specifically to 155, and the maximum speeds that Excadrill could be is 154, so the fact that he went before me and got that Rock Slide off tells me that it's a Choice Scarf Excadrill. So that does a couple things. That tells me it's not a Choice Scarf Haxorus, and it's not a Choice Scarf Chandelure, so that means that my Flygon is the fastest thing in this game, which is very useful information. It also tells me that Cinderace will be faster than the Chandelure and the Haxorus if need be, but mainly Flygon, because Flygon does work against these 3 members. He'll one-shot the Excadrill even if it was at full. He'll do a bunch to the Chandelure because it's not Air Balloon or anything like that, and he'll do a bunch to the Haxorus. So the fact that he scarfed the Excadrill makes me feel a lot better, because I was worried about it being on one of these 2, which would give my team a lot of trouble. So I Parting Shot out and go straight into Aegislash, because now that he's locked into Rock Slide, I know he's going to switch out into something. So I click Shadow Ball because I figured it was going to be the Seismitoad, but he actually goes on to Chandelure, which isn't a bad idea if I did any fighting or steel moves, but I had gone for Shadow Ball because I figured he wouldn't want to bring in the Snorlax just yet. And he goes out into the Chandelure, and it's dead in one shot to the Shadow Ball. So at this point, I still have everything. My worst looking guy, Aegislash with the burn, but that's not too bad even. I've gotten rid of my 2 biggest threats. Now looking at his team, I would say the thing that scares me the most is probably the Haxorus. But even with that still alive, I've got all my answers. I've got the Aegislash, which takes everything except an Earthquake quite well. I've got the Flygon, which does a bunch and then opens up a Sucker Punch for the Grimmsnarl. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident, but I still have to be worried about the Haxorus and the Snorlax. So he goes out into the Seismitoad, which is a good switch. I want to see what he's trying to do here. So I scout with the King's Shield again, and it's an Earthquake. So that tells me that Silvally's a pretty safe switch in, but he Toxics, which is a good call. I'm glad I didn't switch in Vaporeon, though, because I do not want Vaporeon to getting toxic, so I think Silvally was the right call. Here, facing off against the Excadrill, it's a little tricky, so I just parting shot back out because I wasn't going to do much otherwise and go into the Vaporeon. So, an Earthquake does 38, which isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I Ice Beamed because I figured last time we had this interaction, he just went straight out into Seismitoad, so I figured he would again, but staying in, the Ice Beam didn't do very much damage, only 29%, but I get the freeze. So the Excadrill would die to another Ice Beam, but I see this as a pretty good opportunity to bring in Grimmsnarl. I figured with this frozen, he's going to switch out into something, and any of the three, I was okay getting Grimmsnarl in clean on, because he's frozen, he probably doesn't attack, and if he switches straight out, Grimmsnarl can come in, set up Reflect, because from the looks of it, all of these are physical that are left. So just get the Reflect up, and then start clicking Bulk up. And there's not much he can do. He can try and match with Curse, but it doesn't look like he carries Curse, because he didn't go for it here. And the Iron Head does not do anything, so I'm just going to keep bulking up. And there's no way he can stop me if I get a couple bulk ups off here. So getting up 2, getting off the 3rd. I still have 5 turns on Reflect 4 now because of the light screen. And I don't need to Gigantamax because it's still frozen, so I just play rough. Now with Snorlax out, I want to Gigantamax so that I can get more damage off, and I figured he would as well, which he does. So going for Max Starfall, just for the extra little bit of damage, almost take it out, but not quite. He goes for a Max Steel Spike, gets the defense boost, but I don't think it matters since I'm at 2.5 attack, so another Max Starfall does a good chunk. Now, it's sort of hidden behind the Grimmsnarl, but my Reflect is slowly wearing off, and I had timed it to try and lose the Reflect and my G-Max at the same time. So, as Hacktress comes in, the Iron Tail only does 13%, and while he does get the defense drop, the Starfall is going to kill him. The Reflect runs out, and this leaves me in just the right position to get a Sucker Punch off, because I can't Sucker Punch while G-Maxed, and finish off the Seismitoad. So, overall, a very clean game from me, but honestly pretty lucky. I think if the Weezing and the Chandelure stick around later into that game, it's a lot harder for me, and without the freeze on Excadrill, I don't have a great opportunity to bring in Grimmsnarl and get set up. So while it was a 6-0, I don't think that kind of shows how the match was played. It should have been a lot closer. My opponent just got unlucky, which after what happened to me in week 2, I feel bad about, but that's just the way Pokemon goes sometimes. So thank you for watching my week 3 match. I'll have the week 4 match going up late tomorrow, most likely. That's when we're supposed to play. So either late tomorrow, early Friday, our week 4 matchup should be up. Thank you for watching the San Francisco Cinderace.